Hey team, it is Crystal here, the founder of Team Pay It Forward, and I am excited to be on with you today. What we're going to start doing, we've been doing monthly team calls, and so now we're going to do weekly team calls or team training. So that way you can watch them on your own time, since most people can't get on a call or a hangout at the actual time that we have it. So I'm just going to be doing it on Tuesday nights and posting it up on Wednesdays, and then you can watch it at any point that works for your schedule throughout the week. And so what we're going to be doing is just talking about different topics that are coming up in our team that people are talking to me about and having questions about. And then I'm also going to be having a number of different guest speakers on, people from other teams, people from Epic Dream Team, some people from our Pay It Forward team. But I want to bring a ton of information coming at you because everyone has different styles. And even though we're all like moving forward in the same direction and gunning for the same thing and trying to get the same efforts achieved with ending the trend of obesity and helping pay it forward and whatnot, we all kind of have a little different way of doing it. And so I think that the more people that you can hear from and how they're achieving success and what they're doing in their business, the better off you will be, and that you can really do great things in your business. So I have my great friend Shayna on tonight, and we met at the beginning of this year. We once you get into the Star Diamond ranks, corporate usually starts to pay attention to you, and then they asked us to join in this mastermind Zoom group together. And so we were in the same group, and we were Zooming once a week with all these people, and we realized that we literally live like 15 minutes away from each other. We live one town away from each other, and we think a lot alike. We always say that we have the same brain. So we've kept in touch, even though we're not doing the mastermind group together anymore, and we've moved on and stuff. I love this girl. She's amazing, and I'm really excited to bring her on tonight to be sharing with you. So we have a couple of questions planned out and everything, but I'm sure there'll be some off-the-cuff stuff too. So I'd like to welcome Shayna, and then I'm just going to have her start out with telling you her story and her why and kind of where this all started and where she's going and all of that great stuff. So take it away, Shayna.
All right. Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on the call tonight. I'm really excited to be here. Just a little bit about my background. I am a former Navy officer, and then I worked for Lululemon for a number of years and also got certified as a personal trainer while I was doing that. My husband and I had our first child 3 years ago, and so I became a stay-at-home mom at that point. I would occasionally work with, friends or neighbors doing private training sessions, but was never like a full-time personal trainer. It was more for my own knowledge after I had my own weight loss journey, and then had friends and family asking me questions about, helping them with their own goals. I figured maybe I should know kind of what I was talking about. So I got certified, but I've always had a passion for health and fitness once I went through that transition on my own. So, and then about 2 years later, we had our daughter, and just before I was about to have her, I kind of felt like I was missing. I absolutely love staying at home with my kids, but I felt myself getting a little bit lost in the mommy role and wanted to have something for myself again, but I didn't want to go back to work, outside of the house. I didn't want to leave my kids. And to go work in a gym as a personal trainer, you wouldn't make nearly enough money to pay for childcare for 2 kids. So it just didn't make sense for our family. I had been introduced to the Beachbody opportunity about a year prior to that through a friend who had asked me to join her challenge group. She knew I was into health and fitness. I was working for Lululemon, and she was a new coach. And I said, sure, I'll buy Brazil butt lift. I've been eyeballing it anyway. So I did. She offered me Shakeology, and I said, no, thank you. I make way better shakes on my own. I buy the whole superfoods aisle at Whole Foods, and I'm nursing. That's not safe for breastfeeding moms. No, thanks. So, but I humored her. I hopped on a call with her upline coach when she talked to me about the coaching opportunity. I was like, well, okay, maybe we'll see what this is about. I hopped on a 3-way call. they vomited Beachbody all over me, and I said, no, thank you. And then, but I kept following them on Facebook, and I kept seeing all of this amazing stuff that my now upline, Jessie Vandenberg, was posting. And so the seed had been planted. Fast forward a year later, I'm, about to have my daughter, and I'm thinking, how can I get back to my love of health and fitness, but still be home with my kids? Led me to reaching out to Jessie. And so here I am. I just actually had my 1-year anniversary with Beachbody yesterday. So when I first became a coach, I wanted to give it my all, and Shakeology wasn't really in our budget. We were in a tight spot financially, and so I told my husband, I said, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to do exactly what Jessie tells me to do, and if at the end of 3 months it's not working for our family, then I'll quit doing it. This is not, it shouldn't put us in the red. It wouldn't make any sense for us. So I'm still here a year later. I've never had to pay for my Shakeology. I had to press the I believe button a million times in the very beginning and just do what my coach told me to do and put my blinders on. And I trusted her, and here I am. It's working.
Yay. Yeah. Okay, so tell me, how did you grow to get to where you are? So obviously, there's a lot of mindset stuff. There's a lot of things that you have to do. Maybe did you know anything about social media? Tell me kind of where you started business wise, and then how you have grown to get to where you are.
Totally. So I think I did have a little bit of an advantage coming into this because I was already kind of a trusted source as far as health and fitness was concerned. People knew I had a passion for working out and eating healthy. I was kind of an open book on social media already. I did love to share, probably more than your average Joe. I wasn't into posting, 3 to 5 times a day, so I had to get used to that and building that into my schedule. But I was familiar with social media. But I was so afraid to be a salesperson when I first got started because that's how I was approached. And so I was super, super sensitive to that. And I didn't want to come off that way. And I didn't want to vomit Beachbody all over people like it had been done to me, even though I was super excited about it. So a lot of it in the beginning for me was personal development, learning how to approach the network marketing model through GoPro. That was a good book for me. And then Go For No was also a really good one because I was, so afraid of, being that slimy salesperson. But I really had to twist my mindset around to going for no and planting the seed instead of fearing rejection.
Yeah. Awesome. So how and where did you, I know you said you were kind of had an advantage. I can relate to that because of being a trainer and whatnot, people already had that trust in you for fitness. But so I imagine that's where you get a lot of your customers and whatnot. But how and where did you start to find your coaches, especially, and customers too, but especially your coaches?
A lot of my coaches have come from, so my focus in the very beginning was just getting challengers, getting familiar with running a challenge group. My first challenge group was literally a group of my girlfriends. I signed up as a coach when I was 39 weeks pregnant. My plan was to start PIO 3 weeks postpartum, assuming the delivery went as expected, and it did. So I was able to do that. And so once I got my PIO challenge pack in the mail, I sent a message out to 15 of my girlfriends and said, oh, you guys, I'm going to do PIO. I would love for you to do it with me. And 10 of them hopped on board. Boom, instant challenge group. That really helped to build my confidence. And so I was able to run that first group, not really caring what anybody thought because they were all my girlfriends. I didn't really care. So after that, it just kind of became the way I did things. I was just like, oh, you guys, I'm doing this. Who wants to do it with me? And that was my approach. It's always been my approach from the beginning. I always share what I'm doing and just invite people to join me for the ride. And then through my challenge groups, I just kind of watch who is already acting like a coach. And that's where actually my first rock star on my team came from. I have been in 1-star qualifying once before. And that girl was actually a challenger, and she said no to me like 3 or 4 times, I think, before she converted to being a discount coach and then approached me about the coaching opportunity. So you never, ever know who's going to be a rock star on your team. Don't discount anybody, but that's where the majority of them have come from. The rest have come from me getting more comfortable sharing about what my business is doing for our family, but that comes with time.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. So non-negotiables, let's talk about non-negotiables. What are they? And then what are you doing to make sure that you make them happen?
So my number one non-negotiable for me every month is SC10. I was kind of playing it safe in the beginning for the first couple of months. My first month I hit SC20, no problem, just because all of my girlfriends jumped on board, and I feel like I kind of cheated, so I don't really count that. But my second month I hit SC7. But after that I was like, all right, you're so close. You really want to blow this up. You want to make this a big deal. Let's push a little bit harder. And so over the next 2, 3, 4 months, I kept hitting SC10. And so now it's just, okay, this is what we're going to do. It's not a goal. It's just that's the business plan for the month. In order to do that, I actually use the Power of 3 document. I know, Crystal, do you use Power of 3 or Business Activity Tracker for your team?
No, we use Business Activity Tracker, but we've definitely talked about the Power of 3, and I know what it is, but please share so that way everyone, because we have a lot of new people on.
Yeah, so here's me being vulnerable. My Power of 3 was a little light last week, but so this is a little bit what it looks like for those of you that haven't seen it. It's just, it's got each day of the week, and then the first category is new friends that you're adding to your Facebook page. You always want to be expanding your network to make your audience even bigger. Conversations. I'm starting 3 to 5 new conversations every single day, and it doesn't have to be about Beachbody, and usually it shouldn't be in the beginning because then you're vomiting on people. But just reaching out to people that you haven't talked to in a long time. Maybe somebody completely random you didn't even realize was looking at your page, liked a picture that you posted or commented on something that you posted. Reach out to them, start a conversation, engage with them. Naturally, Beachbody is going to come up because maybe you haven't talked to them since high school. You ask them what they've been up to. They love to talk about themselves when asked, and then eventually they're going to ask you what you've been up to. There you go. There's your chance. Invites, 3 to 5 new invites to your challenge groups every week, or every day, sorry. 3 to 5 follow-ups from past invites, and then 3 invites to the coaching opportunity every day. Last week was not super stellar for me, but it's really good if you have this tracker to use. It shows you where your weak spots are, and then where you maybe need to make up the difference in the coming days.
Awesome. A lot of us hate tracking. I know people always talk about, oh, I don't want to fill this out, whatever else, but that's really, I always tell people it's kind of like keeping a food journal when you do with your customers, like how, people say, oh, I'm not losing any weight. And you say, okay, well, let me see your food journal. And oh, okay, well, I haven't really done any of that. And then they keep a food journal all of a sudden, and then they see, oh, well, I've been shoving my kids' food into my mouth after their meal every time. Oh, and they get it themselves. They don't even have to have someone else look at it. And it's the same thing for us with like the Business Activity Tracker or the Power of 3. When you're tracking what you're doing, you see where your downfalls are, just like you said. So with that, I know you said you're getting your coaches from your challenge groups and whatnot. I know a lot of times people on the team have asked, like, how do you have so many people? Like, obviously it's compound effect, and you're not going to have 3 people to invite as far as coaches right off the bat every single day when you're a brand new coach. But challenger wise, if you're inviting that many people and whatever else, how do you keep up with those numbers coach wise? And like, how do you keep finding new people? How are you finding new people? Where are you finding people from? Are you joining groups? Are you doing it on Instagram? Like, how are you finding people now that you've been doing this for a year?
I did dabble in Instagram for a little while, but keeping up with my personal page, my like page, and Instagram was just too much for me. So I kind of scaled back. I'll post on Instagram, but I don't do too much engaging over there right now. I'm focusing on my personal, my like page right now, but adding 3 to 5 new friends every day. I go through maybe, a new person that I'm talking to. I'll go through their friends and see, maybe there are young moms in there with kids that look about the same age as mine, or, somebody posts their profile picture makes it really obvious that they're into health and fitness, or maybe people that have, the military aspect in common with me. I'm also a military wife. That's another community I could tap into. Lots of different communities, private groups, like you mentioned, people that I interact with, and, mommy groups on Facebook and stuff like that. I'm always adding them. But I don't just add like random people. It's, somebody I have a mutual friend in common with, or, a similar interest that I can start a conversation over.
Okay, cool. Okay, so non-negotiable is Success Club 10 because you were looking to build your business and build it fast. I love, Beachbody doesn't guarantee anything, but I love how they've come out recently, how they've said if you hit Success Club 5 for 2 years consistently, the average coach who does that is making approximately $50,000 at that point. And then if you hit Success Club 10 for 2 years consistently, the average coach is earning in the six figures that does that. So that's some good, solid numbers to be thinking about. So like me, I hit Success Club 5. I took the, and that's fine for some people. That's totally fine. I always say I took the easy route or whatever, because I look back and I kick myself because I'm like, I could have done more. I should have done more. I just was giving myself this mindset of like putting a ceiling over myself. But if that's what is good for you, then that's okay. Just make sure you're not limiting yourself. But anyways, I look back and think like, oh my gosh, if I would have hit Success Club 10, could you imagine where I'd be at this point now, where I'm already having great success after 2.5 years? If I would have done twice the amount of what I was doing, just think. But anyways, you live and you learn. So next one, speaking of new coaches and that kind of stuff, what are your top 3 tips for new coaches?
Oh, geez. Listen to your coach. Do what your coach says. Like I mentioned before. What's that?
I said I didn't pay you to say that.
No. No, and maybe Crystal isn't even your upline coach. Maybe you're a couple down from her. But seriously, you're in a downline of very successful coaches. And so, listen to what they're saying. They've been there. They've been at the beginning just like you are. They had the same objections in the beginning that you did. They had the same hesitations in the beginning that you may still be having. But press the I believe button. Do what they're saying because it works. Obviously, Crystal's doing very well. Not cheap to live in Orange County. But yeah, I would say definitely, just press the I believe button and do what they're telling you. Personal development is huge. Over the last 12 months, every time that I feel like I've had a sticking point in my business where I just couldn't figure out why I couldn't get that momentum back, it's because I wasn't doing my personal development. Figure out what you're really struggling with, like right now with, my team growing and the momentum building so much. Time management is huge for me. So right now I'm reading Eat That Frog. Before that, I was reading The Entrepreneur Roller Coaster because, and this is something that Michael Neiman touched on in our Super Saturday this past week, and it's, related to the Entrepreneur Roller Coaster, is that so many people, when they come in, they think, oh, once I make it to Diamond, the money is just going to start raining down. But you have this skeleton of a team that you can start building on. And that's what I've been doing. I hit Diamond in less than 90 days, but here I am a year later and I'm still at Diamond. There were a couple of sticking points over that 9-month period. And now that I've kind of started to figure it out, how to build that momentum again, it's getting a little crazy. And so, the Entrepreneur Roller Coaster was something that I thought would be a good idea for me to read. And it really was. I highly, highly recommend it. And then let's see what else. So personal development, listening to your coaches, and just being consistent. Seriously, you guys, in the beginning, it's going to feel like you are talking to crickets. You're posting to crickets. Sometimes my first challenge group was awesome. My second challenge group bombed. Like I had 3 people in there. Nobody told me that was a terrible idea, but it was me and 3 other people that didn't participate. Just keep going. I promise you it will work eventually. Just stay consistent. that, that uphill battle when you are, pushing that snowball and trying to make it bigger and bigger. The higher up the mountain you get and the bigger that snowball gets, the harder it is to push. But once you get to the top, I promise it's totally worth it. So just stay consistent with what you're doing, the business activities that you see starting to get traction, just keep pushing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. That's true. Because you know what, people, a lot of times, it's weird to say this, but like people will look up to me and be like, oh, and they think it's all this glitz and glamour and success and whatever else and stuff like that. And it's like, no, I've experienced, and that's why, constantly try and share your struggles with your team and stuff too, because when you are leading a team at that point and stuff, if you're not a new coach and you are a leader, that it's important to do that, because people think that they can't relate to you. They don't know that you push past that. But yeah, I've had so many posts. Like when I posted in the beginning, I was like, everyone hates me. Nobody cares what I'm saying. Yeah. Like nobody wants to know anything I have to say. But then all of a sudden, and I know like new coaches say this to me all the time, someone said that they saw what I did this past weekend, and it has to been because of my Facebook post. And I'm like, I told you, they're watching you, as creepy as that sounds.
Yeah.
So true.
And you don't even realize sometimes you'll post something and it doesn't get any likes or comments, but there are a lot of people that are still watching you. So be consistent with your posts, be consistent with sharing. Even Janelle Summers said at Summit, she still does stuff sometimes that just totally bombs and gets no likes or comments. And she's the most successful coach in our company. So yeah.
Crazy. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that was for new coaches. I mean, and that can apply to everywhere, of course.
Everybody.
But what are your top 3 tips for leading your team? Because we have a lot. I mean, everybody should be a leader on our team, but we have a lot of leaders now on our team, and it's growing and it's flourishing. And so what are your top 3 tips for leading your team?
I think the biggest one for sure is just to keep in mind speed of the leader, speed of the pack. Your team is going to do what you do. Set the example. If you want your team to be hitting SC10 every month, you have to do it too. You can't ask your team to do something that you're not willing to do yourself. And so that, and the momentum that you create is by them watching you. And so you need to share what you're doing, what's working for you. Share it with your team. If you just had an awesome conversation, copy and paste it into a document and post it in your team page. Share with them. This is all about duplicating. So, I tell my coaches all the time, I'm like, if you see something that I post and it's getting a ton of traction, copy and paste it. I don't care. Take what I do. Their success is my success. So I want to share everything that's working for me with them. And then I guess the third biggest one is just get organized early, because as your team grows, it's going to get increasingly difficult to get yourself organized. So if you can start that early on, you may not think you're a leader because maybe you're only an Emerald or a Ruby coach, but the second you sign your first coach, you're a leader. You have a team. So, start your tracker, start your Excel spreadsheet if you want. You signed up a coach, put their name, their email, their phone number, and kind of where they are in their business. Maybe they're just a discount coach. Maybe you just finished their getting started right call, but keep notes on people, start early. And as you start to develop systems, keep documents, keep spreadsheets on Google Drive, stuff that's easy to share with your team so they can just take it and make it their own. Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, that's huge. I didn't do any of that in the beginning, and I was backtracking. A lot of last year, which is my second year, I was doing that kind of stuff because I was following the lead of some awesome new rock star coaches on my team. So I was like, yeah, I should probably do that. So yeah, that's a huge one. Definitely a huge one. And it's you don't have to reinvent the wheel, but everyone has their own flair of how they do things. Everyone has their own spin on how they do things. So even if you're taking your upline stuff and then making it your own and then using that in your team, and then your team will take that and make it their own, and then so on and so forth and so on. It's huge, especially for new coaches. Like, because a lot of times they're like, what do I say about this? Do you have a video about that? oh, how do I make this happen? What do I do? And I'm like, oh gosh, yeah. And you need to have a video for this and a video for that. So everything you do, like down to this littlest thing, like sometimes I feel like I'm just like saying the same boring stuff over and over again, but if I had a video for it, then I wouldn't have to. I'd just send someone over to my video, you know.
Like my 21-day fix video that I made, I can't tell, like I thought it was the dumbest thing for me. It was just a post that I put on my like page because I was like, oh, people are asking about this. Can't tell you how many times I've used it.
Yeah. Yeah. Simplify your life. That's huge. Yeah. Because as you grow, I know, I mean, for me personally, I will never, lifestyle is a huge part of the reason why I do this. And I think Melanie Mitro is great. She's a top coach and she works a full 40-hour-a-week schedule at least. You know, and a lot of the top coaches, they've said that when they were pushing for top coach, they worked 100-hour weeks. I personally am not willing to do that, and that's okay. If someone else on the team is willing to do that, then you can make that happen and push, and they have great success for it, and they have great success fast. I'm kind of on the middle of the road track. I'm not a super slow person, but I'm not a super fast person either. But I really do want that family life balance for me the whole entire journey. Like I will never work more than 3 to 5 hours a week. I mean, a day.
Good for you if you've got this figured out on 5 hours a week. Tell me your secrets.
A day, yeah. But as that, I mean, and that's the thing though, as you grow, you have to have those systems down. You have to have that fine-tuned machine and have it really working well. And I think on Team Pay It Forward, we really do, I feel like we've blossomed this year because we have this system, this monthly cycle of all these different inviting systems that we do, the free group and whatever and stuff like that. And so it's really working well now. And everybody that's coming in gets to benefit from that. So it's really cool. So last question. What has been your biggest breakthrough since becoming a coach?
Oh, geez, my biggest breakthrough. I think honestly, just believing that I could actually make this work was a big thing for me. And I can't even tell you when it actually happened. I don't even remember. I didn't have this big aha moment, but in the beginning I was like, okay, you know, I'll give this 3 months. We'll see if it can work. And I'm looking at these top coaches going, yeah, right. Like maybe I'll make $1,000 a month for my family. Maybe not. I don't know. But at some point, I don't know if it was just talking with my coach over and over, and she's an open book. Like she'll answer any question I ask her. So I just grew a pair and started asking her lots of personal questions about her business, you know, and she was totally honest and open with me, and she had the same exact story I did. She was a prior personal trainer. She's a mom of 2 now. But she built this business from her kitchen table, just like so many other successful coaches do. And so finally I just had that moment where I was like, why not me? And that's when I really, you know, I got serious. I started diving into, you know, some training from the top coaches, so much stuff available on YouTube, you know, working with our corporate trainers and just really honing in on exactly what it was going to take to make this really successful and earn 6 figures.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so much stuff available out there. I think sometimes people become paralyzed with the influx, but just knowing, you know, that when you stick to the basics and then, you know, even like people who really want to drive and go for it, like one of the easiest things that you can do, but you get ahead of the game, is just to listen to the National Wake Up Calls on podcasts. When you're folding laundry, when you're driving in the car, when you're commuting to your job, whatever it is that you're doing in your life, you know, and the mundane stuff, listen to a couple extra National Wake Up Calls and think about how much further ahead you're going to get. Like, you know, that's the mindset that you have to have. If you want this, you can run with this. You can run with it. So yeah, that's awesome. Okay, cool. Anything else that you want to put out there or add or anything like that?
There have been several times over the last year where I feel myself getting overwhelmed with all of the stuff that I'm trying to do. You know, I'll have a really successful challenge group and I'm like, cool, I got the basics down. I'm going to add this on top of it. Or I'm going to do this. You know, I'm going to run ads on Facebook and my ad ends up blowing up and I have 50 people asking me about challenge groups and it's like overwhelming. I can't handle it, you know? But every single time that happens, I rein myself back in and I go back to the basics. personal development, being a product of the product, and inviting. Sticking to my power of 3 every single day. Literally, there is no difference between a brand new coach and, you know, a 10, 12, 15 star diamond coach. That you can build your entire business on the 3 vital behaviors. You don't have to do all that extra stuff. You know, our last Super Saturday, Megan Tucker was talking about, what is she, 9-star diamond, 6-star diamond, something like that. But she doesn't even have a like page. She literally built her entire business from her personal Facebook page doing the 3 vital behaviors, because you can't run an ad from your personal page. So she's not doing that. She's literally just posting and sharing and inviting. That's it. So stick to the basics. If you feel yourself getting overwhelmed, stick to the basics.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up, because I feel like I say that all the time and people just think I'm like, whatever, I don't know, they laugh at me or something. So I like that you said that. And we have the same brain, so that's
we have the same brain.
Okay.
I did not share my answers with Crystal before this, so she had no idea that was coming.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing
thanks for having me.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. And I think a lot of people are going to get some good nuggets from this and learn some. And I'm going to, if anybody ends up posting any questions, I will forward them over to you if people post them within the next week. And that way we can have any answers that people, you know, are looking for and stuff like that too. So thanks for being on, and have a fantastic rest of the day, guys.